Hey there, it's Raimu, and this is the recap video for my game, Omnia Reignia, September 2019, all the progress made during that month. So, September was a bit of a variety month, a bit of catch up on some of the things under the hood in the game engine. So, the most notable things on the outside of the game for people to notice were that the login to Twitch feature was finished, and the terms of service were added to the game, so you have to agree to that before you could play the game. Under the hood, a lot of performance improvements were put into place, and I basically phased out the concepts of the logged out and default zones in the game, so that every place in the world now is tied to at least one zone entity. So I'm going to go through a voiceover a little bit of week to week progress through the month of September, and hope you enjoy. All right, in the first week of September, I was trying to finish up the login with Twitch feature. So the last part of the work that I was doing here was to get the JWT to come back correct, and I included a nonce in there at the end. And once we log in with Twitch, the user is prompted to enter a name for their player. And I didn't quite get that working at the end of the first week. There are a few bugs, as you can see here. But I believe post-stream over the weekend, I got it working. And now about half of the players of the game actually use the feature and seems to be working well. I haven't heard about any problems. I use it myself. It's very convenient. You don't need to have a password in the game. We just leverage Twitch's authentication to let you log in. All right, in the second week of September, I guess it was Crazy Hair Day then, I was working on improving the performance of the game from various aspects, and I made the most improvements, I believe, in removing a bunch of the worker thread polling that was done in various components of the game. So here I'm looking at the performance analysis tools built into Visual Studio after running the game server, and just drilling down and finding where the bottlenecks were in the game. In the third week of September, I worked on adding the consent to the terms of service and privacy policy for the game, so that when you first create an account in the game, you have to agree to the terms, and then every time I change the terms, which I haven't yet done, but in the future probably will have to at certain points, whenever that changes, then anyone who logs in afterwards gets prompted, as you saw there, to accept the new terms again. And each time you get links to where you can actually look at the terms of service and privacy policy. And on the last week of September, I started work on removing some of the obsolete concepts in the game. There are two special zones that game entities could be stored in during that time up to this week. So they were called the default game zone and the logged out game zone. And as you saw there, the logged out game zone was very populated by player characters who were tied to players who weren't logged in, and worked on getting all those players migrated back to the zones that they should have been in, but then mark their characters as gone using a special flag. Also, this default zone you see here was completely removed, both from the test build of my game and also in the production server. So I haven't recreated them. At one point I talked about recreating them for posterity's sake. Haven't done it yet. But the reason they existed, this default zone and logged out zone, the logged out zone was more of a mistake in the design, and the default zone was simply an artifact of when we had game entities before there was a concept of zones at all. So they just didn't have a zone attribute. So once we added zone attributes, we had to basically deprecate that default zone and migrate everything out of it. And that about wraps it up for the month of September of 2019. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you again back for the October 2019 recap. And as always, you can catch me developing this game live on stream on twitch.tv/Raimu8354. Hope to see you live. Bye.